Red flags are generally a known pattern indicating some type of criminal activity, an indicator of a potential problem that will lead investigators deeper into the investigation. Investigators should always be on the lookout for the patterns of activity when looking into pharmaceutical crimes. As investigators hone their skills, they will often be able to see the common red flags jump out during an investigation. It's very important to document these flags in reports, stating, based on their knowledge, training, and experience, and build their case around these identifiable patterns. Most red flags are cloaked within common activities. When someone reports a robbery or burglary where medications were stolen, it could be a sign of diversion. For example, a victim that can't or won't provide specifics of a stolen prescription information for the report, such as the pharmacy where it was filled or the doctor who wrote the prescription. This can be an indication that the victim wants to use a police report to provide to one or more doctors in an effort to get a new prescription before they are due. This activity has been significantly reduced with the state PDMPs, but it still occurs. When you take this kind of report, make sure to query your state's prescription drug monitoring program. Establish a history if there is a reoccurrence and provide for potential intel at a later date.
If you're looking at a database and you start to see a multitude of different activities on the same day, keep in mind that a database is just a pointer system. Until you actually reach out to that healthcare provider, they could work in a large office and it could be a multitude of different providers at that same location. And if they all know about each other, then it's not illegal. But again, looking at it from the outside in or looking at it initially, you may think because you see a lot of activity that maybe there's something on it that's not legit.
All pharmaceutical drugs have unique identifiers, and it is important to be able to identify the pills you might find during a traffic stop or other incident. The identification of the substance goes directly to your probable cause and the criminal charge. Simply reading the marking on the pills might not be enough. Just because a pill is marked with an identifiable logo does not mean it contains exactly what you would suspect. Current trends have revealed that it is easy to buy the equipment necessary to press pills, so what you see might not be what you have. Take precautions when handling any pills or substances. Officer safety is a huge concern when dealing with pharmaceutical drugs. Fentanyl and fentanyl analogs are especially dangerous. Fentanyl is a potent synthetic opioid analgesic with a rapid onset and short duration of action. Even a tiny dab can be a lethal dose. Particles can become airborne or be absorbed through the skin, causing an adverse incident or even death. So use extreme caution when handling any narcotic substance, especially fentanyl analogs.
We've seen them in counterfeit pharmaceuticals. We've seen them in commingled with other illicit drugs like heroin and meth and cocaine. So those drugs predominantly were always standalone drugs. Now we're seeing drugs that are mixed with 2 or 3, in some cases over a dozen of different substances. Why? Because those suspects believe that it'll afford the addicts a better high for them to come back and keep buying more drugs from them after the fact.
Investigators should be prepared at all times to handle an exposure incident. Responding to an overdose situation can also be an exposure potential to officers.
A mixed bag when somebody reacts to naloxone. We've had individuals that we thought were near death that miraculously woke up in a matter of a few minutes, were moving around and standing. And we had other ones that were experiencing some bad side effects which were consistent for a drug exposure. But again, there was no downside on giving them naloxone. The cases that we deployed it worked effectively. And it buys us some time until paramedics can get on scene to make a determination if they're also going to use naloxone, Narcan, or try some other remedy to treat that person.
When investigating pharmaceutical crimes, it's important to remember where there's a will, there is a way. We as investigators need to have the same resolve when investigating those crimes.